All right, it's All Axxess Entertainment Podcast. It is overtime, the bonus segment. I'm your host, Joseph Bruin, here with Keith Elliot Greenberg. Thank you so much for joining us here this week. We're going to throw a few names at you. The first name being Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant is a legend who, even to people who were not even alive, were not born yet during the era of Andre the Giant, he still means something to them. He reaches them from the world beyond.
The immortal Hulk Hogan.
The immortal Hulk Hogan was the lightning rod for what we have today in professional wrestling as sports entertainment.
The mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart.
Jimmy Hart is ageless. He's timeless. He is both known as a great talker, a great talent when he was at the height of his career. And right now he is a fantastic ambassador for the business because he is an absolute 100% gentleman.
Matt Bourne.
Matt Bourne, fascinating. This is one man who was able to take his demented personality and channel it into Doink the Clown. And I'm not sure we would remember Doink the Clown if it wasn't for the fact that it was Matt Bourne under the makeup.
The Undertaker.
The Undertaker is, well, I don't want to use the word legend again. The Undertaker is an icon. The Undertaker, Ric Flair, once referred to the Undertaker as the greatest gimmick of all time. And now that, Mark Calloway, the man behind The Undertaker, is making himself more accessible, we realize the depth of the human being that made that gimmick so successful.
Pedro Morales.
Pedro Morales. The first word that comes to mind is emotional. That comes from someone who grew up in New York and saw him as the champion. He had a fire in his soul. And as champion, he was able to get everyone not just invested, but ready to tear down the arena if things didn't go in Pedro's direction.
Terry Funk.
Terry Funk is my personal favorite. I think he's the greatest of all time. He transcended eras. He played different types of characters. He evolved as he aged. And I don't think there were very few people who were as good on the mic.
The Valiant Brothers.
The Valiant Brothers, in some ways, I look at the Valiant Brothers, even though they had very bloody matches, as like a great comedy tag team. Because in addition to being, sneaky heels, they also were very funny when they were on the microphone. And, they could always draw your eyes and draw your ears.
Wild Bull Curry.
Wild Bull Curry, a maniac, a man, was a Hartford, Connecticut police officer who you truly felt that he was the person he played in the ring. He'd rampage through arenas. He would have bloody matches. He would cheat. And to the point where sometimes fans cheered him.
Mr. Bob Backlund.
Mr. Bob Backlund was, in his day, a great representative of the business. Bob Backlund, even though people criticized him for being bland and colorless, he was a pure athlete and a serious athlete. And when he finally decided later on in life to become a villain, he was so successful as an unhinged personality that it may have been his greatest run ever.
And the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
There'll only be one Dusty Rhodes in history. The man's charisma was indescribable, and while he influenced so many, it just watching video of him now, all these years after his death, is still riveting.
The Russian Bear, Ivan Koloff.
Ivan Koloff, is the man who Bruno Sammartino chose to lose the title to. It still boggles the mind that Ivan Koloff was not even Russian, but he would speak in a gimmick Russian accent to the point where even people inside the business forgot that fact.
George the Animal Steele.
George the Animal Steele, he was immensely strong, which enabled him to play this animal-like creature who could pick guys up by the neck and actually, in real life, not hurt them. And another reason why that gimmick was so successful was that George the Animal Steele was the real-life Jim Myers was a very intelligent man, and you never would have known it if you were watching George the Animal Steele.
The Hollywood fashion plate, classy Freddie Blassie.
There's, what would they say? I mean, Lou Albano used to say it. Often imitated, never duplicated. He was another one. His life in the industry went all the way from, the days of the carnivals to the days of WrestleMania, and he's classic.
And a multi-time record-breaking champion retired in 2025, John Cena.
John Cena, I think that John Cena is finally on this retirement tour getting the credit he's due. He was able to thrive against a wide range of opponents. He would generally make his opponent look better and elevate his opponent. And I'm glad that on his way out, he got to have that one heel run so you could see his versatility and appreciate it.
Legendary ring announcer Howard Finkel.
Howard Finkel, he loved wrestling, and that passion came through in his voice.
Vince McMahon Jr.
The business would not be what it was and what it is without the guiding hand, whether it was benevolent or evil, of Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
And we've got three more here. The Macho Man Randy Savage.
Macho Man Randy Savage is one of those people like Dusty Rhodes whose charisma still oozes even after his death. It was everything from his mannerisms to his voice to his obsessive compulsive habits of studying every move beforehand. And that's why when you watch his matches today, they are just as good as when you saw them for the first time.
Angelo Savoldi.
Angelo Savoldi, the man with the cauliflower ears. Angelo Savoldi was a steady hand during the early years of Capitol Wrestling. He also played a pretty decisive role behind the scenes. He knew where a lot of the bodies were buried, and those secrets are buried with him now.
And ending it with the Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
Ric Flair, he's been called the greatest of all time. I don't think anyone who's ever laid eyes on Ric Flair has forgotten that sight. And that's proven by the fact that even today, hip-hop artists and NFL players continually refer to the Nature Boy Ric Flair.
Keith Elliot Greenberg, thank you so much for joining us today on Overtime. For Keith, I'm Joseph Bruin. It's the All Axxess Entertainment Podcast, and we just went overtime.